on the red side, we have Serega and ML Alexander, who are still Balalaika. And over on the blue side, we have Razman and Nandemann, who are Nandemann. This is Gunboat Diplomacy, and are you ready, Val?
I am ready, yeah.
So 3, 2, 1, go. So what are we looking at in terms of decks today?
So, I'll ask you a question then. What decks do you think Razman and Nande will be using this game?
Are we seeing a NATO motorized and a Commonwealth?
What a surprise!
Wow.
You're right.
Solid guessing there.
Mystical guessing, yeah. They're using the same decks as they have been before. The Commonwealth deck for Razman and the NATO motorized for Nande. We do see a bit of a change on the red side though. Saraga's using his USSR Armoured, which I don't think I've ever seen him use any other deck in his life, to be honest. And Alexander is using his Eastern Bloc Mechanized deck, which is, I think, a lot more suited to this map. It's very nice to spam a lot of motes, shoots, and units such as in the Echo and Hotel areas.
Okay, so yeah, I think the moat shoots and choice is a very good idea on Gunboat Diplomacy. This is a very attritional match. This map, literally, like once you get into these compounds, it's all infantry versus infantry with like basically fire support. And the great thing about Eastern Bloc is that you do have access to the T-72s with the 4 HE power, and then you have the BMP-1s with the moat shoots, and that combination is just so potent in like close range warfare. And like also the T-72s actually have quite high AP, so if they get closer to the heavier tanks, they can do a serious amount of damage, and that's something that will really come in handy for Alexander throughout this game. And this is, yeah, Gunboat Diplomacy, it's going to come down to those sort of infantry warfare, or that sort of infantry warfare, unless we see something based around helicopters, I think.
Well, maybe Nande's ridiculous amount. I was trying to count them there, but there's a lot of M36s, and Bravo might try and go straight through to Alpha, which would definitely be interesting. But
we saw that before, though, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
On the Gunboat Diplomacy map we played before. A lot of M36s were just placed around in their side sector in order to defend it. Like, that's basically all they did it for, and it's pretty cheap defense. Obviously, each of those M36s is a very cheap unit. They're like 10 points each, aren't they? So yeah, I think that's just what they're going to do again, and they got a recon in there. They're catching Anashiki. I don't think they're going to really go for a push with just M36s. It doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't make sense, that's true. But they haven't fully deployed yet, I think. I mean, if we go what we've seen in previous games with Nande and Raz on this map, I think they will just go for pushes into Hotel and Echo. Definitely the bottom side of Echo over the river. We see a lot of blue side teams push that side.
Yeah, so not too many units being put down yet for Sarega, although we do see a T-72 BU being placed in India, which is interesting because the only reason you'd place a unit in India is if you were planning to go across one of those bridges with it. I mean, of course you could use it defensively, but why would you buy a BU and use it defensively? That doesn't really make sense. Maybe actually that attack marker might be telling. If you can get a BU into that forest, that could actually be a very good place for that.
It could be, but surely you'd spawn it on the other road though? On the road
it would technically be
down.
Closer. That's why I was a bit confused.
I mean, if they use 3 T8TAs and a T-72 BE for defense and Alpha, either they know something we don't, or that's a massive investment.
There is an attack marker from Sarega over Charlie. So, do you think he's really going to go for this push across the bridge? It's very, very risky.
Well, they have lots of reserve infantry here, these OT-810s.
Yeah, but he knows that... Well, yeah, he knows that Razman's going to be using a Commonwealth deck and having the F111Cs. Like, if he tries to go across that bridge and 4 1,000-kilogram bombs land on top of his convoy, that could be devastating. Like, absolutely devastating.
It could be, but at the same time, you've got to remember, there's almost no chance that Nandemann will start with enough points in reserve for one of those. And honestly, if I were them, I wouldn't even buy one because I buy an anti-tank plane if you had to defend, because these M36s, they're all well and good for killing transports and infantry, but if they go against an actual proper tank, they'll just get mowed down. So it really is, this push might actually work. It depends on what kind of preparations Nandemann have, because if Nandemann have enough points invested in airplanes or reserved for planes, they could literally just go and kill all those tanks. But if they don't, this could really work out well for
yeah, you make
Alexander
a
and
good
Sarika.
point about the HGM planes. Yeah, that they would definitely go for those instead, because obviously the 3 TATAs and a T-72 BU. But do you think, like, if they saw the push coming in over the bridge, then they would just save points in order to buy only aircraft in order to counter it, whilst the M36s kind of act as a distraction? Or do you think they would maybe invest in some like Challenger 2s and stuff to try and like match those tanks on the ground?
Well, that's the difficult thing, really, isn't it? Because if Surrogate and Alexander save and they buy, let's say, Yak 41, a Yak 141 from the start as well, that could really, really put a hamper on any anti-tank plane. So it might be safer just to get some more Challenger 2s for Charlie. But, I mean, it really is up to Razman down in this bottom side, because if he realises what's going on in this top side, it's really up to him to bring his heavy tanks up to Charlie, because at the moment, if he sees all these tanks going across the Alpha Charlie bridge, he must know, surely must know, that his tanks are going to be much more useful in Charlie than they are in Hotel Neko.
Yeah, for sure. But it's also this is what I thought you were going to say, was that it's also up to Razman to take advantage of so many points being in that top side and push across into Hotel and Echo completely and try and take advantage of those points being up there. Obviously, he's going to have to face off against Alexander, who's bringing BMP-1 SP-1s with all the Mochutsun, and of course the OT-810s with the Zelaznici. But he can put a lot of pressure on Echo and Hotel, so that this push in the top side from Surrogate and Alexander, with some of Alexander's reserve infantry in there, it actually breaks their concentration on the top side and brings the focus down to Hotel and Echo. I'm so excited to see how this works out, because we really haven't seen any fighting between Alpha and Charlie on this map just yet.
Not much of it. I mean, I don't think we've seen any. I think we saw an attempted push, but that didn't work out.
Yeah, I think it was one of like a last minute sort of. He just threw his units over, as opposed to like a proper organized push. And it looks like in this one, that's what they're kind of going for, like a set piece attack into Charlie. Maybe they can take control of it. Maybe they can get hold of Bravo, get that reinforcement point going, and then push down onto Razman and Nandemann. It's going to be hard. I mean, even if they get across the river without taking too many losses, having the reinforcements coming in so close from Razman and Nandemann is going to be incredibly hard to deal with. But we are underway after a very long, almost 8-minute deployment, and let's see exactly what happens.
Let's see, indeed. I mean, if this push works, and if they can get to Bravo, this game is pretty much over. I think if they can get a CV in Bravo, but that's a lot easier said than done. And Nande and Raz definitely don't want to let this happen. That's for sure. And this Gazelle Cannon will do a nice job of scouting out this push very quickly, and we'll hopefully be able to see from Nande and Raz if they have the correct response to this. Because I'm just looking at their view; they can now see it coming in towards the bridge from that Gazelle Cannon.
Yeah, well, I think once they actually identify the units, then they'll know. So I don't think they necessarily spotted the heavy tanks, in which case they might just think it's a spam similar to Nandemann's coming across the bridge. But when the actual heavy tanks open up, then things might get different. But you can see here, Seraga's actually not going to continue to push all the way across here. They are going to keep the heavy tanks in reserve to kill off these approaching M36s, which is very, very interesting. Jaguar GR1A coming in with the Eurofighter Typhoon. Are they going to be able to do some damage? No, they're not.
Nope.
As the Jaguar gets shot down immediately by
Oh, look at this bomber
Tors.
coming in. These M36s are so clumped together.
Yeah, but there is a Eurofighter Typhoon that is going to turn on the Su-24M and is going to shoot it down, but the reply kill onto the Eurofighter there from the Tor, and that massive bombing strike is going to do so much damage. In the bottom though, we have seen the engagement open up. Government versus Granatomet AGS-17s and Special Aufklärer Zalaznici have got into the town, but they are fighting some Commandos 90. So currently things, I would say, are in Nandemann's favour in terms of numbers, but I mean those ASU 85s doing a lot of damage in the back line there. Razman's managed to get some Stormers across to the bottom side of Echo, and now there is coming a push across from Alexander for all those M36s that have been killed and providing a massive traffic jam for all those units. And honestly, that could be really dangerous. Like those tanks, I mean, they have got across now and they are taking out that Mexus and stuff, but we've got a Harrier GR7, and if too many of those tanks are close together, then that could be a devastating bombing strike from the GR7. But the GR7 is going to go down. It did land the bombs into the traffic jam.
Shilkers, though. I think it went for the Shilkers.
Yeah, it took out the Shilkers. I think.
Oh, the Hornet coming in though. This could, if this survives that ML and this can get its missiles off, this could do a massive amount of damage from the side here.
Yeah. So the ML. Oh, what did that just kill? Was that the T-72 BU? Yeah, it was. On the bridge there. The Hornet going down. There's a lot of exchange of units here. I mean, that was a lot of points for Razman and Nandemann to lose in terms of their air force. They lost the Eurofighter. They lost the Hornet. They lost the Jaguar, and they also lost their Mexus. I don't know. Nandemann and Razman aren't making too much ground into Hotel either. Alexander's done a great job down here with his composition to sort of hold this off.
Honestly, I'm a little disappointed with what Razman's done here, because he brought his Challenger 2 down, realised he needed it back there, and now he's moving it back over. And it's kind of, if that was there, that could have held off those T8TAs really well if he'd microed it correctly out of some tree cover. And at the very least, it would stop this push in its tracks. But right now, he's having to bring out Mexuses. Just try and do anything he can to stem this push in, because they have taken Charlie despite losing that BU.
That was just so funny though, that this bridge actually got clogged by the M36s. I almost thought that no units would be able to get across there, and that would be like a devastating bombing strike waiting to happen.
Fantastic.
That would have been hilarious.
That was Nando's secret plan all along. He wanted to block the bridge with M36.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him, but there we go. Razman, with his Commandos 90 in Hotel, managing to take out two BMP-1s, absolutely tearing apart some Ochusen squads. Some real progress being made by Nandemann Stormers into the bottom side of Hotel, and basically Echo's completely under the control of Nandemann right now, and they are making a good push into Hotel. They've just got to control the bleeding that's coming from Charlie right now. Harrier GR7 coming down. He's going to land bombs onto one of the Tors, and also sniped one of the Recon PT-76Bs randomly. The GR7 actually got out alive since the Tors are out of ammunition. And now what's happening here, the T-ATA slowly sneaking up the tree line there, going to flank this CT Mexus unless the T-ATA hits it with a HGM first. And I think it's going to be extremely hard for Steel Balalaika to push into Bravo, but this is a lot similar to what they did in the first game, I feel, with those helicopters and the Corner Strelki. On Hope and Glory, they made that initial helicopter push, and they took the initiative because of it. In this game, I kind of feel like they're doing the same thing. They're delaying Nandemann's play a lot by forcing them to react to this play into Charlie, and currently Nandemann is bleeding a +2 points lead to Steel Balalaika. So the same thing is sort of happening again. The only thing that I can see this time round is that Nandemann has got quite far into Hotel, but now a lot of the units are dying. There hasn't been many reinforcements since all of the reinforcements have been thrown up to the top side at Charlie. And the reinforcements are coming in for Alexander into Hotel. So slowly what's going to happen is there's going to be a massive deficit of forces for Nandemann in Hotel and Echo. They're going to lose control of that. And once they do, it's going to be incredibly hard to take back. And then all of their forces are going to be in the top side. So things actually looking pretty bad now for Nandemann.
They definitely are. I mean, if Steel Balalaika can hold Charlie, they'll win that game off that, because Echo and Hotel are worth 2 points put together. Charlie's technically worth 4 because you would expect the blue team to own it. Because it's a corresponding sector to Alpha, so if the red team controls Charlie, they'll have a +4 lead rather than a +2. And, you know, Razman definitely has the units to push back here, but, you know, we've seen it last game where Steel Balalaika, they managed to hold on with what seemed like nothing from some really nice plane plays.
Yeah, we do see these Urals coming up now. They are going to resupply the Tor and fix up the TATA and resupply that as well. So they are going to have a fully replenished TATA and the Tor there to help hold back Nandemann for as long as they can, take a lead for as long as possible. And I think in the meantime at Echo, you know, these reinforcing infantry squads, they've kind of lost their positioning now. The Granatomets have got into the building there. The Specials Aufklärer are actually in a pretty decent position. They just don't want to be taking the damage from that fire support. They really sort of need a infantry squad that has an AT weapon to deal with those APCs. But the Vidra 2 is going to be able to focus on those Stormers, so that's going to do quite a lot of damage there. But these XA-180s have just driven through to Delta, and it's up to the FJB to kill them before they move through and take out the UAZ that's heading back to India. Mi-24D is not going to be able to get the kill just yet, but the FJB finishing them off. So the XA-180s dealt with there. TATA that was completely fixed up, now back down to 1 health in Charlie. Jaguar GR1A is going to take out the full health TAT and the second one.
Oh, that's a brilliant pickup there. That's exactly what Nandemann needs.
Yeah, so the Tor going to shoot down the Jaguar anyway, but a brilliant trade. Going to allow Nandemann to take back Charlie almost definitely now, I think, although those Shilkers could prove an issue for all this infantry. However, the Challenger 2 has just arrived from Razman to deal as much damage as possible, but the Mi-24D now going to present a problem as there is no close range AA. So that will force back the Challenger 2, but the Challenger 2 may not have to worry too much since the Mi-24D did just run out of missiles. And in this bottom side, things still going on. Oh yeah, this Area 30 is on its way. Can the Challenger 2 get into the tree line on time? I think it might just, although Razman's decided to reverse away from the missiles instead of hiding it. And yeah, that was not necessarily the best idea. This Tornado F2 just got shot down by the Grom squad in India. Oh my god, MVP Grom squad. Just base AA randomly takes down that Tornado. So I think things are still going pretty well on this bottom side. The reinforcements came in just in time to stop things getting too ugly between Hotel and Echo for Nandemann. So they have managed to get these Gevarmen and Stormers into the right positions to continue to contest this sort of infantry warfare that's going on, whilst also continuing to clean up in the top side. Was that a GR7 just came in?
I think it might have been, yeah.
Just dropped a couple bombs. I think it might have just taken out the Tor. So, leaving the skies open again. Just the Shilkers left, but the Shilkers, they're going to do a lot of damage to these Stormers if they can get on target, although the Shilkers are dead now. So maybe they took out those as well. My bad.
Nandemann has 2 CVs here, and they're bringing in helicopters. I'm not entirely sure what their reasoning is behind that one.
Where is that?
Over in Bravo. They've just landed a Lynx CV that they're moving into Charlie. They have another one they're moving to Charlie. So, yeah, one from Razman and one from Nande. So that looks like a bit of a
miscommunication.
Kind of, a miscommunication, yeah.
And look, I guess what they can do is just send one down to Echo and capture that. Try and get rid of this income lead from Steel Balalaika. So that HQ section, it needs support though. I mean, there's still reinforcements coming across this bridge. The Urals coming back to resupply the infantry and the APCs that are maintaining a presence in Charlie somehow. There just hasn't been enough of like a forceful push to get them out of Charlie entirely, and they really need to do that as soon as possible because it's proving such a problem for them at the moment, and it's really costing them conquest points.
Well, I mean, personally, going back to my pet sadness, this Challenger 2, Razman sent down to the bottom side. If he'd have sent that to the top side immediately when he realised his push had come, about, 20 seconds into the game, he would have been able to have it fight off those T8TAs before the red team could get enough points to buy enough ATGM planes. And now, as we can see here, they've got tons. They're defending this really well, and the way they're doing it is by buying these ATGM planes and using them super effectively.
Yeah, so the Seria 30 there coming in, taking out the C2 Mexus, and the Gevarman now engaging the Motorschützen in that forest. So the Motorschützen actually in cover though, so they should be able to survive for quite a while if they take out those APCs. The Su-25T going to come up, pick off a Recon Leopard. The Crotale is going to run out of ammunition, not hit a single missile onto the Su-25T, so that's probably going to fly around, and I was going to say have another pass, but looks like Seraga's going to decide to get that out of there. In Echo, they have secured it with that extra HQ section, taking down still Balalaika's lead to +1 income. And, I mean, Nandemann has been whittled down on the bottom side of Echo, though. So, these Stormer squads finally dying out to the overwhelming number of Motorschützen. And if Steel Balalaika can actually get a hold in the bottom side of Echo whilst maintaining this neutralization of Charlie, they're almost certain to win this game.
No, they really, really are. I mean, this Lynx 3 coming in, a bit risky with those Shulkers around, but those Shulkers do have a very short range comparatively. Yeah, I mean, it does look finally like Nandemann has regained a decent control of the sector, as that Block 15 does a beautiful job. Funny taken down by the T though, which is pretty funny.
The T opened up with its 30mm cannon onto the Block 15 there and managed to shoot it down. That was actually pretty nice. It also uses up its infrared missiles, but the Su-25T is open for a gun run onto this Lynx 3. And it's going to take it down. Jeez, what a snipe that was.
One pass.
Very, very nice from Seraga to identify that that could happen. And now, in this bottom side, look, it's just falling apart. They don't have enough to reinforce the bottom side at Hotel and Echo and push them out of Charlie.
I think I've discovered the modus Balalaika, I think. It's like they can play standard, but who wants to play standard? That's for the weak. What they do is they do these amazing, really clever pushes like the one we saw, and then they somehow, I don't know how, by the skin of their teeth, defend those sectors with some crazy planes.
Yeah, well, they
hold them for so long.
Yeah, it's that, but also just the fact that not just planes, but just in general, they maintain their units in those areas for much longer than they should be able to.
Yeah, they have any right to be able to do.
So I don't know if it's their good micro or whatever, trying to like conserve their units so they're a pain in the ass and the enemy team can't do anything about it, or if it's the enemy team not doing enough to counter it. I don't know. I can't even tell. It's just like one of these things that just baffles you. Block 15 though, and the Tornado F2 had enough of this Su-25T. And it looks like that's going to go down.
Though. The Tornado F2 just has one more Sky Flash to send out.
Oh, no way. No. The 25T really? Is going to get out alive, and the Tornado F2 did go down. That is insane. And still, more reinforcements coming into Charlie. 2 T-72As did just make the cross into that sector. And the Seria 30... not contested, doesn't really have any targets though other than the Recon Leopard. And if those Commandos 90 show themselves, I mean, they're going to take 4 HE shots to the face, and they are going to be stunned.
Though.
Yeah, they did, with the help of that Leopard 1. And maybe that Commando 90 squad will go down, but weapon jam. Weapon jam for the Leopard 1 is not going to mean the T-72 is going to die today, but maybe the Commandos 90 can make something happen there. Down in this bottom side, though, things are getting worse and worse. The Canadian Rifles have reinforced the bottom side of Echo. Maybe the moat shooting that Alexander has there will be overrun, actually, by these autocannons of the TH-495s and the Canadian Rifle squads. That's a very big possibility that they don't have enough there in order to maintain their presence, but I'm pretty sure just some more reinforcements down towards the bottom side of Echo and they could just push back themselves. Charlie is finally under the control of Nandemann, thanks to the HQ section that did manage to sneak into the tree line. The Yak 141 is going to take down the Block 15 over Bravo, over enemy airspace, and the Track Rapier FSA will not reply the kill as the Yak 141 does get out alive. The MiG-29 912A with the 4 thermobaric bombs, they're going to come straight down on top of the HQ section. Nothing that can be done about that. And Charlie is once again neutralized. Wow.
It is, and somehow they've got even more units across and they're putting them right into this tree line. And
oh, there's just nothing. I tell you what's happened is there's nothing in Gulf to fire up from that location. Where the Challenger 2 died, they should have maybe brought in recon leopards and put them in that tree line, because that would have been perfect in order to continue to harass the reinforcements that were coming across the bridge. But they haven't been able to do that. Then Mi-24Ds coming round to the backside of Foxtrot. F-15C Eagle going to be coming across, but not needed, as the TH-495s are going to shoot down that helicopter with the autocannons. The Canadian Rifles slowly being picked off in Echo, as Alexander's doing a great job of microing his infantry so that he minimises his losses, and the Viger 2's coming up here with the 30mm autocannons to take on the TH-495s.
Oh, and winning as well, which is definitely very good for Alexander.
Yeah, and if Razman loses his presence again on the bottom side of Echo, I don't think there's going to be much chance for him to try that push again. And he's soon going to get completely pushed out of Hotel. And I think for a long time, still Balalaika has been playing with their food, really, because they could have had, at this point, a command unit in both Echo and Hotel, which would have pushed things to probably about a +4 lead if Razman didn't have the HQ section in Echo. So obviously still Balalaika is focusing on buying more units to make sure that this hold on Charlie sticks, but I mean, that's always a possibility throughout this game and will continue to be so as long as Charlie's contested.
That's definitely true. Although, I mean, actually, you know what? I'm not going to say it, because I was going to say I'm really expecting them to actually regain Charlie now, but it's just not happened every time. Every time this happens. I mean, Mexis should kill off the Glen, should kill off the
yeah, but there's
MTL,
two TATBs on the way.
But yeah, the TATBs. Can they push across again? Especially with the Syria 30 coming in as well.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance. Well, the Syria 30 is scared off by the Sea Eagle and
destroyed.
Yeah, well, completely taken out before it managed to evac. But the TATBs are going to get across to Charlie, so that's going to put a large amount of pressure onto that sector once again. And at this point, I think Nandemann need, planes that can, like HGM planes, but they don't have any left, I don't think, because they've all been shot down towards the beginning.
I don't know, because I do know that Nande has, I think, 3 different ATGM planes, or anti-tank planes, should I say, in his deck. But that being said, it doesn't matter too much when your tank dies in Charlie and
his
your infantry's being napalmed, so...
The Sea Eagle just gets away from the 141s, but the Su-25T coming in now. Looks like that might be pulled away and evac, since there is quite a lot of AA for that to deal with. Oh, Milan 2 squad nicely placed on the tree line at Gulf, so that can begin to try and snipe the TATBs, but let's see how Serega deals with those. Looks like if he can drive towards them and get line of sight, yep, he's just going to one-pop that squad.
Oh, there's 2 stack of BMPTs coming in as well. They're going to wreck all of the infantry in these forest
This is
lines.
just disgusting. They need like a helicopter, like a Lynx, or...
Well, they have one coming in. They've got a Hornet as well. This may finally be the end of the Charlie hold. Finally. Oh no,
the infamous Charlie hold. Yeah, the Hornet there. I mean, it killed one of the TATBs, but it could have killed both if it actually hit those initial targets. BMPTs, though, if they move into that tree line, they're going to rip apart those SASR. The Fuchs Milan is going to go down. The MiG-29 912As are going to drop bombs directly on top of this Leopard and make it neutralise the sector again, although the Leopard just getting away with that. So the BMPTs moving forwards and probably going to take out the Eric squads next, although the Erics do have a good chance of killing the BMPTs, especially with the help of the Lynx 3s, because the Lynx 3 did take out that TATB.
Well, this is just like last game though. At this point, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Have a look at the bottom sides. They have a great hold in the Echo area. They've almost completely, should I say, taken Hotel. You know, they don't even need to buy another CB. They can just hold this neutral points lead and just win off time if they want.
Yeah, but there's going to be a contesting CB in Echo very shortly as the Topaz R2M is coming in. So what that's going to do is put a +1 lead for Steel Balalaika once again, and this whole sort of ruse in the top side has meant that Alexander has somehow had enough points to push and hold Hotel and gain the bottom side of Echo.
I almost don't believe this isn't due to divine intervention, because like they have no right to be able to push in this bottom side while simultaneously holding Charlie. It's insane. They've played this game so well so far.
Do you think though that maybe Nandemann didn't put enough emphasis on pushing out of Charlie as best they could as soon as possible?
Again, I think they didn't. Like when at the start when Razman kept the Challenger 2 going, it came all the way down to you see where the Stormer HM and the Crotel are in the top of Echo? Then he was like, you know what, actually we do need it in the top side, and moved it all the way back. That was wasted time. And if they could have nipped it in the bud, they could have really dealt with it, but that is a beautiful napalm strike.
Yeah, the napalm strike onto the command leopard there. It's going to force it out of the sector. And also the anti-radar missile did come in and take out the Track Rapier FSA. So, I mean, it's definitely neutralised Charlie again, putting the +3 lead for Steel Balalaika for a while. The Yak 141's trying their luck at killing this Hornet, but it doesn't look like they're going to get on target. Only one missile hit. The Lynx 3 did not destroy any of the MT LBVs before the Motorstrelki dropped out, and now there's going to be Motorstrelki to deal with in that forest
again. Well, there
again.
are, and this Lynx 3 can't destroy those transport, or the infantry, should I say, because it doesn't have any anti-infantry weapons. And this is just like even more they're just the contesting that never ends. This is just,
and the Kahu
stupid.
and the Hornet
It's
there
crazy.
used to finish off the BMPT and some of the APCs, because they are actually threatening them right now, which is ridiculous. Now we've got some BMPs, 6, 8, 5s coming in, adding insult to injury, and things are not looking better. There goes a mortar to the 27M, and if it can get line of sight onto this C2 Mexus or the Leopard 1s coming in, then, you know, both of those HGM planes are going to have a field day.
This has definitely been almost tragic to watch, I think. Fantastic to watch, but tragic at the same time for Nandemann, because they just haven't been able to push back. This poor Lynx 3, it's trying, but it just can't do it.
These strategies from Steel Balalaika in this game and the last have been really well executed, and I think they're just like so unorthodox. I don't think even Nandemann and I expected the push from Alpha. I think he saw it and then he tried to clog the bridge with M36. I would actually not be surprised if that was actually the case, because it seems like quite a good idea. You remember what used to happen when people would use T-34s, yeah, exactly, and it would just block the bridge entirely. I guess he was just trying to do the same thing, and M4P did go down.
F111C goes down as well. There's Yak 141. The Seagull coming to try and get a reply, but
that killed 5 squads of Motorstrelki though. And the Sea Eagle did get a 141. The 25T and the SU-27M are going to take down the Sea Eagle though, and the Seria 30 just getting another kill there. Lovely job. It looks like this 25T is going to come round and pick off some Leopards, as well as the 27M there. God, things are just not looking good. I mean, it's already over, let's be honest.
It's been over for a while.
It's been over for a long time. And still Balalaika just adding up the points to 500 so that they can win this game. And that's pretty much it. Like this THS Mi-24D having the time to just fly across the river and drop off troops. That's how bad this is looking. And the FJB now going to be in position to shoot down the Lynx 3. What is going on? It's just like a series.
Oh, it's gone down.
It's a series of like counters.
Well, the most unfortunate events, I think, is what this is.
This is crazy. This is just crazy. I mean,
ML Alexander's a series of unfortunate events.
I think it's just like Alexander and Serega have been picking the correct units every time to send across this bridge. Like when they've needed tanks, they've had tanks. When they've needed infantry, they've got it into the forest, and it's been a pain in the ass. Like, now they've got a bloody helicopter, and there's no AA. now what's going to happen is Nandemann is going to bring in some track rapiers, and there's going to be some bloody tanks coming across the bridge any moment.
Well, they don't even need it at this point.
They've already won.
They've won a while.
But like, the +1 is just counting up to the 500, but like this is what I'm just trying to like get across what's been happening throughout this game. It's literally like the counters have been thrown across that bridge every single time, and Razman and Nandemann and I have just sort of been like, oh, we need this now. Oh, it's too late for that. We need this now. Oh, it's too late for that.
And, well, not to mention that, but their planes have been so outmatched this game. Like they've lost so many planes. And a lot of planes from Alexander and Serega have gotten out, and it's just tragic. It's actually tragic to watch. They're gun running that recon squad. Oh, the Su-25T takes down the Hornet.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. This Su-25T, the kill feed on that 25T must be pretty intense right now.
I wish I could. You know what? I wish Alexander would have or Serega even would have taken a screenshot of that.
Well, we can just, if you change it to the point of view. At the end of the game, you can see it. Yeah, you can. So, the game has just ended with still Balalaika taking the victory over Nandemann in 29 minutes and 3 seconds in this second game of the best of 5. And, oh my god, what a game. In this final, I mean, it's 2-0 to still Balalaika.
Have a best of 5.
Yeah, Nandemann are going to have to win the next game in order to have a chance of staying in the tournament and winning first place. So, there you have it. Brilliant game from Still Balalaika. What did you make of that, Val?
That was brutal. That was just disgusting to watch. You know, again, I think it all goes back to the initial unit deployment. You know, where if Razman might have been a bit quicker off the ball with the Challenger 2, they might have had a better chance of clearing that out. But honestly, the thing you've got to remember is even if they do clear that out, still Balalaika still held that sector, or at least kept it neutralized, for ages while winning the bottom area. So imagine how much harder they would have won the bottom side if they would have, not even had to invest in the top. I mean, obviously Nande and Razman would have more troops to invest in the bottom side, but considering how well Steel Balalaika played that, and their planes were absolutely insane that game.
Yeah, well, when they were just picking up kills after kills after kills, it just gets worse and worse and worse for Nandemann, but well played by Steel Balalaika in this one.